Hi everybody, welcome back to my studio. I'm Mary Rose Feldman. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and I'm so happy you're here and that we get to create and tangle together, have a moment of gratitude, and just relax and get that grounded moment. And hey, we happen to create art in the process. We're going to work today on just a small square tile. I'm doing a regular Zentangle square tile, which is 3.5-inch square. You can do this on any paper you want, a journal, a copy paper, whatever you have handy or whatever you enjoy tangling on. And same with the pens. Whatever pen you like to use is perfectly fine. There is no judgment on the supplies. Find what you like and find what brings you joy. So we're going to start today with a moment of gratitude and just a centering breath. I invite you to pause the video and have this be as long or as short as you would like. The purpose of this breath is really to just bring all of our senses to right now. Mindfulness is about just acknowledging how you feel right now without a good or a bad label, just acknowledgement, no judgment, no problem solving. Focus on that breath. Nice inhale, nice exhale. Notice where you might be holding any tension that you might want to release when you exhale. Today's affirmation: I invite joy into my life. Have your own moment of gratitude. Come back when you're ready to go. Here's the affirmation card I randomly pulled. And we are ready to go. All right, so we are doing a tangle called Sensono. Let me write this down. I want to make sure I spell it correctly. I think it's S2S is sometimes how it's called, but it's Sensono, and it might be S2S. And let me get Carmen's name correctly. And it was deconstructed for us by Carmen. Varela. I think it's Trigo. I'm trying to read the step out she has, and it's a bit tiny. Okay, so I'm going to show you our tile. Because you've probably already seen it. If you hadn't already seen it in the video image when you clicked on the video, I probably would not show it to you because I don't want you to be scared off of this tangle. It is easy, but there is a rhythm. And once you get the rhythm, you're all good. But this is the tile that we're going to do. Okay. It looks complicated. It is not complicated. It is very much about one pen stroke at a time and embraces all of our Zentangle principles. Relatively easy. We are going to start with pencil though. With pencil, we are going to pencil in some of these lines, and just for the strips. So the panel that is Senso is right there. That strip right there is what the tangle pattern is. The things in between are just halaba. Okay, so we want to pencil in these strips. And I want to show you a tip. When you do long lines, whether it be pencil or pen, typically what we do is we have our hand and our forearm stationary, and we get our hand in a comfortable position and we do our pen strokes, right? But notice when you do that, you have a natural curve to your wrist. If you're trying to do a long line that is straight, you're coming down, and then notice you get your fingers into this awkward position and you're trying to keep a straight line, but you're naturally wanting to do a curve. When you do a long line, if you notice my shoulder here and my arm down here, I keep my wrist locked or solid. I don't move my wrist, and I move my arm as a unit. So I'm moving from my shoulder, not from my elbow or from my wrist. And what that allows me to do is just keep my hand positioned just like this, and I move my hand and my whole arm in a straight line. What we want to do is about 1/8 of an inch aura. I'm going to keep this pulled out just so you can see my arm, and then I'm going to zoom in. So not directly in the middle of the corner. I'm going to the left of the corner, and I'm coming all the way down as a unit. And then I'm going to thinly aura. And I didn't get directly into the corner. I'm a little bit off, but it doesn't matter. Okay? So we want about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm referencing only for visual. You don't have to measure. Please don't measure, because I don't even know. I'm guessing on spacing here. Okay? Then we're going to leave a wider space. And just a tiny aura. The other tip I want to give you is we're going to do this same space on this side. Okay, so I want a wide aura on this side, but if I go like this and I try to do that aura, my pencil is covering my spacing. So it's really difficult to do that and keep the spacing, and my hand is covering the spacing that I'm trying to mimic. So if I turn my tile around, and now I put in that aura, I can visually see the space over here, and I can see the space where my aura is. Moving my arm as a unit. Okay. And we want to do the same thing over here in the corner. It's going to run off the page quite a bit. That's okay. So I do about 1/8 of an inch in the center. Essentially what we're doing is holding the channels for our tangle pattern. And I can already tell these are much closer to the corner than my sample, but that's okay. All right, so this is what we have. We have a channel for our tangle pattern in the center. We have a channel over here, and we have a channel over here. And then you can grab your pen. Pause the video if you need more time to set up that structure. Okay, so we're looking at this middle channel, the very first lines that we drew with our pencil. We're going to pen, and here's what we're going to do. In this channel, we're going to make a tiny triangle that's colored in. So notice the direction of that triangle. We're going to leave a little bit of a space, and then we're going to do a reverse triangle. So this one, the point is down. This one is the point is up. And here's the way I think about it. My next triangle auras this edge. So when I go to my next triangle, it auras that edge, which means that it goes this way. It's just another way to look at it. And you're going to fill this up. Now, the spacing of these triangles between here, that's the width of this little panel. So the spacing here is going to be the width of the panel that we end up doing. We're just going to do the center strip for now. So just that center strip. All right, so here's what we're going to do. The first, trying to figure out the orient your tile. I know I'm stuttering because there's 3 different ways I could say this, and I want to make sure I get it clear. I'm looking at a triangle that has the point down. So that would be this one or this one or this one, right? I'm looking at the triangle that has a point down. And I'm going to take that edge and continue it. Actually, let me do it on this one because you could see the full thing. So this triangle is pointing down. I'm going to take that edge and continue it until it hits my pencil line. And then the triangle next to it, it's pointing up. I'm continuing that line this way. So remember I said the spacing between these makes your channels. And you're going to connect the top. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next pair, meaning a triangle pointing down and a triangle pointing up, and I'm going to do the same thing. And you're going to just repeat that for every pair. So your pairs might go off the page. They may or may not, they're kind of parallel. But we are human. Okay, and that's what you have. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to turn this in the other direction. And what you're looking at is now we have to put those lines on this side of the band, right? But notice that the angle of the triangles, here's a triangle and here's a triangle, they're going the other direction. So you're just following the edge of that triangle, but you're doing the same thing. You don't really have to think about the direction because the triangle's telling you your direction and you know that you're on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm doing. This is the side we already did. Here's the two triangles that I need to connect. I'm not connecting them on this side because we already did that side. And the angle is going down this way. I'm just retracing the edge of that triangle and continuing it. Okay, and that's what you have. That's the tangle pattern. There is a rhythm to it, but once you kind of understand it, it's pretty cool. All right, so what we're going to do is just trace the outer edges, and I'm moving my arm, not my wrist. And if you choose, you can erase the pencil lines. Make sure your pen is dry. You don't want to smear any ink. And when you erase those pencil lines, you've got that really cool pattern. Really, really cool pattern. So you're going to repeat this for this strip and this strip, and they're tiny, they're much shorter. Okay, and there is what we have for our tangle pattern. I'm just going to erase my pencil lines there. Okay, so from here, go ahead and pause the video. I know I keep repeating that, but I don't want people to be stressed if I'm going on. I really am going at just a medium pace, maybe even a quicker pace, because I know I don't want to take up too much time in the video. Okay, so from here, I was trying to decide what to do next. And there just seemed to be a natural flow of drawing behind. So can I take that panel and, draw behind in some way, shape, or form? So what I'm going to do, and I just noticed something in my tile that didn't happen in my first one. So we're gonna work with this. I'm going to grab my 05 and I'll show you, I'll talk through what I did, and then I'm going to show you my other side, which worked differently. And I see what I did, but I didn't realize that I did it. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. Just watch for now because I'm going to show you both things. I have this strip coming up here. I'm just going to draw behind and continue that panel, almost like a halaba effect. So I'm going to do that one. And then I'm going to come to this side. I have this panel and I'm going to go this direction. Then I'm going to go back. I have this strip. So this is just halaba. I don't care where they land. I'm not trying to make it look like it connects over here. I'm just continuing this line. So I'm letting go of where it connects on the land. I'm just continuing that panel. Okay, so I'm just alternating, and wherever they fall, I'm just trying to make them relatively straighter. Okay, wherever they fall, they fall. So then you get this little bit of a crisscross, which is what happened in my sample. Now, what I didn't realize, and I wasn't paying attention on the first one, in this one, these panels and these panels are going the same direction, which I didn't realize in there. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know that they're going to crisscross. Let's just kind of see. I'm going to take this one. This is truly didn't foresee this. So I think what I'm going to do on this side, and this might have happened to you too, because it wasn't on my radar that I should tell you something different. And I'm going to make this one draw behind. It wasn't on my radar about telling you direction, so I apologize for that. This happened real time. And I think when I go to this side, I can't continue this panel because it's in the same direction. I'm going to continue this panel. Draw behind, and let's just see what happens. Okay. And then I'm going to continue this one. So I'm not going in order like I did on the other side. I'm going a little bit out of order. And really just doing a random halaba in there. If I can connect it to something, I can. Let's see, I'm going to pretend that there's a panel coming down from here. And then I can continue this one. I'm going to pretend that there's a panel coming up from here off the page. And then I'm going to go this direction. So I had a bit of luck apparently when I did the class sample, that I just had everything going in the opposing directions and the halaba thing worked, and didn't realize that I would naturally go a different direction. And I'm sure other people did the same thing. So this is going to be a make it work, typical Zentangle, no mistakes. That's all good. That's still pretty cool. I can add more halaba over here if I want. Okay. And we don't have shading on here yet. So you might be looking at this going, oh my gosh, it's a mess now. What are we going to do? It's okay. We're going to get shading on here and it's going to pop everything and you'll be fine. Okay, so grab your pencil. When you've filled in some halaba, actually I'm going to do one more down here. Okay, you can grab your pencil and we're going to do the tangle pattern first, the sensono tangle pattern first. And I'm going to, where each of these panels has that line at the top, as if it's going under, that's where we're putting shading. So it's on either side of those original triangles where we put that line to connect the triangles. I'm going to blend this way first. So see how that really pops that overlap? And you can do that for your end pieces also. So now you've got that overlap in the center. The next thing you're going to do in those strips is you're going to shade the inside edge. Because we want these strips to stand out a little bit more. Okay, so now those strips are starting to come alive. We want to add a little bit of line weight. It's actually thickening a line, not so much line weight. So I'm going to grab an 08 pen. It's a little bit thicker than my 05. And the outer edge of our tangle pattern strips, I want to just thicken that line because I really want to separate those strips versus the halaba, which I consider in the background. We're only doing the outer edge. We don't want to do the inner. We want contrast between the outer edge and the inner edge of those strips. You can see how that sets that apart. Thicker lines and line weight are just the unsung heroes of tangling. They make such a difference. You can do this with an Identi-pen, also a Sharpie, whatever you have that can be a little bit thicker. If you only have one size pen, you might just have to go over this a couple times to get the thicker effect. Okay. And then I also shade. Now that I've got that contrasting edge, I'm going to shade on the outside. To recess that halaba section. And there you have our tangled tile for today. I'm looking at it so you can decide on your tile how much further you want to go with shading. Really the goal was to set apart the 3 strips, and for me I think I need even a thicker line in there, so I'm gonna grab my 08 again and do another, make this even thicker. Actually, I might grab something. Here's my 12, or here's my 10. So this is a pretty thick nib. This is the micron number 10. And this is a bit of a personal choice. You know, how much do you want the strips to stand out? It's a bit of playtime. Be curious, well, what happens if I do something? And really embrace that no mistakes philosophy, because we're just playing. So see how that sets those strips apart a little bit more, at least in my eyes, in person and on screen. The other place you can choose to do shading is in the overlap of the halaba section. The caution I have is that if we shaded on the outside edges of these strips, right, of our Sensono strips, if you don't have a lot of space in there and your shading is almost meeting, you may not want to shade halaba at all, because you don't want it to become too dark. You have to remember to maintain those highlighted areas just as much as you add darkness for your shading. I have a couple areas where I can come in and get just a little shading on the overlap without going too dark. Just a little bit. And I may or may not do it on all of the halaba, but just a little bit there. And I can probably do it on this side too. So even on the sections where they're all going the angles were going all the same direction and we couldn't get the rhythmic crisscross, it's all fine. It's just halaba and overlapped panels was the goal of that section. So it still worked fine. I probably, if I'm looking at this and if I'm being honest, the only thing that I see that I would do is add something going in the opposite direction on this side. Just I felt like I wanted something else there. And these are all the things when you hold your tile out with perspective, you're not looking to nitpick it apart. Look at it, squint, appreciate what's there, and ask yourself, oh, how can I play? What else can I do? So let's go ahead and add our chop somewhere on your tile. Make it visible, be proud of it. This is all about the process and all about the play and the mindfulness. This is not about what we create all the time. We just happen to create something really cool like that. Okay, take a nice good deep breath. Wiggle those fingers. There was a bit of tangling in this one. There was a bit of thinking in this one. I hope it's a tangle pattern that you play with more, because it really is pretty cool now that you have the rhythm of it, and hopefully it inspires a whole lot of things for you. Have a great day. Thank you for tangling with me, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye.